Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues, and our honored guests. Welcome to opening day of Arizona's 57th legislature, and welcome to the House of Representatives. It is an honor for me to stand here before you as Speaker of this distinguished body. Today is largely about ceremony and tradition, and for the most part, the long hours begin tomorrow. Before we embark on the journey that lies ahead, I want to take a moment to first acknowledge the one who gives us the strength and wisdom to lead. God has placed each and every one of us here for a purpose, to be stewards of the trust that the people of Arizona have placed in every one of us. With an approach covered in humility and a servant's heart, for as 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 5 in Scripture reminds us, to clothe ourselves with humility towards one another. So does Philippians chapter 2 and verse 3. It advises us to do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, valuing others above ourselves. I'd like to express my gratitude to all of you on both sides of the aisle for your commitment to serving the people of Arizona. Whether you're here as a veteran legislator or this is day one of your very first session, our journeys that led us to convene here together took real commitment and sacrifice, and your dedication to the state's future is inspiring and appreciated. Truth be told, I wouldn't be standing here without the support of my family. To my wife, Melissa, thank you. You are my rock. And I thank you for keeping me accountable and for keeping me focused and positive every day. And to my two daughters, Addie and Emmy, you too may not yet realize the essential part you play in all of this, but your laughter and everlasting curiosity reminds me why this work we do is so important. This is about building the best possible future for you and every child in Arizona. I have been part of a number of sessions, and I think that many of them include some of the encouragement that we're going to hear today to set aside partisanship and focus on shared responsibility as we serve the people of this great state. Bearing in mind, if you've been here for more than 1 or 2 days, you know that worthy and righteous goal we aspire to tends to be somewhat elusive. But healthy debate is a key component to a well-functioning democracy. And these realities stretch back to the painstaking process involved in the drafting of our sacred Constitution. Passionate debate enhances our system and is not a nuisance, but a blessing. I would encourage every one of you to participate in this healthy exchange of ideas, for your contribution to the business of this chamber is precious, and the voices of your constituents matter. In the spirit of working together and with deep and honest conviction to contribute to the betterment of our state, I'd like to start by highlighting 3 themes I hope will guide our session. First, preserving the American dream, promoting public safety, and protecting individual rights and liberties. First, preserving the American dream. Arizona has always been a land of opportunity, whether it's the entrepreneur starting a business, or the teacher shaping young minds, or the farmer cultivating our land. The American dream is alive and well in our state, but it's not guaranteed. It requires us to ensure our education system is strong, our economy is vibrant, and our infrastructure is prepared for the future. Let's commit to policies that empower our citizens to thrive, no matter their background or circumstances. The potential of our innovators and entrepreneurs is boundless when they're given the ample room to operate, to create, and to shine through. Second, promoting public safety. There is no greater responsibility than ensuring the safety and well-being of our communities, whether it's supporting law enforcement in our agencies or eradicating the flow of fentanyl across the border, especially to our innocent and vulnerable children, or combating the ruthlessness of human trafficking. We must prioritize the security of every citizen. Safety is not a partisan issue. It's a human one. Let's come together to create solutions that protect our neighborhoods, our schools, our families, all while fostering trust and accountability. Finally, we must protect individual rights and liberties. The freedoms that we enjoy as Americans are the cornerstone of this democracy. That includes placing parents at the head of the table for their children's education, protecting medical freedoms, and prioritizing freedom, fairness, and transparency in our election systems. It is our duty to ensure that these rights are not only preserved, but strengthened. In doing so, we honor the sacrifices of those who come before us and uphold the values that make this state and nation exceptional. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to be easy. If it were, they wouldn't have picked us to do this job. But as someone once told me, if you're not willing to roll up your sleeves, you're probably not dressed for the right job. And truthfully, it is my distinguished honor and esteemed privilege to have the opportunity to work alongside each and every one of you, my colleagues. So, we come together in good faith and passion, with struggle in our background, for some, and a deliberate measure of intention to overcome adversity, no matter how high the mountain is. All of this for the security and protection of our children and our grandchildren, and for future generations of Arizonans to follow. We've been given a mandate by the people to govern efficiently, responsibly, and without ill will toward another, and a God-given mandate to work together absent of malice and hate in our heart. As President Lincoln once wrote, referencing his hostile adversaries and those seeking to open rebellion, and I quote, "We are not enemies, but friends. We must not be enemies. Though the passion may be strained, it must not break our bonds of affection. The mystic chords of memory will swell when again touched, as surely they will be. But the better angels of our nature are what's going to help us. But by the better angels of our nature." Close quote. Thank you. Thank you, colleagues. God bless you, and may God bless the great state of Arizona.